Cool, we're live. Hey, I left my laptop at my parents' house, so here we are on the good old phone. Um, just here to answer questions, kind of give you guys an update on what I've been doing. Mostly, well, I've been doing three things really. Um, well, four kind of. Front end masters is one. I've been doing front end masters. Hey, hey, buddy. So glad you're here. Waiting for people to come in. Happy you came to see. Front End Masters is one that I'm doing. I'm working on my portfolio site, so a new website for me. Um, and let's see, algorithms and data structures, and testing. So testing for web development, pretty much, using Jest and Enzyme. And I've done a little bit of shopping. Okay, yesterday I did some shopping, looking for a desk, an adjustable desk, and a dock for my son's computer. So yeah, it's been all right. I've been trying to keep busy, but yeah, we're here to answer web developer questions, really. So when you guys have those, if you're watching this at a later date, feel free to put them down in the comment section, and I'll answer them as soon as possible. Ooh, this is hard to hold this thing. I'm not used to holding the phone this close to my face. I've been growing out the beard, of course. That's probably the most important thing. The longer your beard is, the more web development knowledge you know. So, what's everyone else been up to? Let me know. Let me know. I got a lot going on today. Some more algorithms. Got to do the voiceover for Front End Masters. Oof, I am dragging on that, to be honest. But voiceover, shoot some of the footage. Well, not footage, but like screen capture stuff. And well, that's pretty much it. This music is terrible. I think we're gonna go outside for a minute. So my apologies. Let's see here. I'm gonna drink this coffee up and step outside because I can't talk with this. Or maybe back here, who knows. Bear with me, we've only been here for what, 2 minutes, 3 minutes? So we can wait, I guess. Let me know if the music is too loud or if I'm speaking too quietly. Geez, I guess we could talk about web development while we wait. That's what this is all about. So, some of the things that I've noticed that are going on right now is that, well, aside from everything changing, it seems like the most of the jobs out there now are requiring front-end web development and something else. Thanks, Mateo. So with front-end web development, it seems like we're going past HTML and CSS and JavaScript and frameworks to like a more integrated thing, where we're doing like fully integrating the back end and the front end. Yes, it's still quote unquote front end, but we're doing so many things that it definitely takes a different. It takes more skill, more and more skill, right? But the inverse of that, or I guess the flip side, yeah, we have to work a lot, but now we're getting higher salaries. We're getting salaries that are within the near six figures or more, right? And so once you're like hit that, then I think, man, you're golden. Still trying to hit that myself, but I think it's going to take about 3 to 4 years, and I'm already at like year 2.5, almost 3 here actually, closer to 3 than 2.5. So thanks for the like, by the way. And so I don't know, when that's going to happen, but you got to put in the work. That's something I've been struggling with a lot actually lately, is how much work I have to put in. I mean, heck, yesterday I literally spent 12 hours on testing, like learning testing. Was it worth it? Absolutely. But that's a lot of time. That's like a whole day gone, just sitting down. And guess what? I'm going to do it again today. So it's totally fine though. Maybe spend 10 hours so I can do some exercise or something else, But 12 hours on a weekend, like, Mm. And granted, it doesn't have to be that long, and some people can learn faster than I can, definitely. Uh, but yeah, let's see. Okay, Viking Gaming's. Hi, I'm 34 and I want to start learning coding and shift careers. Is it too late for me? It's. I'm gonna say no, but everything is relative, and it really depends on your situation. What's up, Joseph? Thanks for coming by. We got Mateo, Joseph, and Viking Gaming's. I appreciate you guys coming by. Back to Vikings question. So, 34. 34, and you want to shift careers into web development. It still takes time, right? It's going to take time to learn any like technical skill like that. For me, it took about like a year of like hardcore studying, but everyone's different. Like my aptitude for web development, it was not that good. He's in the chat, Joseph. He's in the chat. So it took me a long time, and I didn't have the right resources. Nowadays, it seems like they're everywhere. So yeah, you definitely can, but I highly recommend doing what I did first before you commit to something like college or a boot camp. Is try something out on your own. Try some of the tracks, like from Treehouse. Team Treehouse is probably the best beginner resource. Now, I haven't used them for years, but I highly recommend that you give them a shot. They're still that good. There's Udemy courses, there's books. Now, if you can like get through those, like say like a front-end developer track is like 50 hours, that's not going to make you a front-end developer, but you're going to know a lot more, and you're going to be able to probably make an assessment like, hey, is this good for me or not? Doing something like that, and then doing like some books, maybe some spare courses, you're going to know that, hey, I can do this, and you're not going to spend too much time dedicating yourself to it. Now, it doesn't have to be front end. It could be any sort of coding, Python, whatever. But Team Treehouse has some good tracks. There's a lot of tracks on like all these e-learning platforms, LinkedIn Learning and Pluralsight. So I would try that first. What are you trying to transition from though, Viking? Let me know. I think you actually said some. No, you're just trying to shift careers. Let me know, and that might help you, actually. Certain things are difficult to learn alone if it's not trending. Oh yeah. I found it difficult to find resources for graphics. Tell me about it. Like even like with web development, like there's some things you just are gonna have a hard time doing until you're in like a big project with multiple people, and that's okay. It's like, oh, I can't ever do it. Like no, absolutely not. But it's just like, oh, boom, it's gonna pick up that like fast. Nixie Wix. Hi there. I don't know if this is the sort of platform where answer to help some close samples, but I have a quiz. How can I make a website music tray? I especially need the feature of the music count. So how can you make a website like Music X-Ray? I don't know what Music X-Ray is. If you give me some more detail, I'll try my best to give you some hints or tips. Let's see here. Sales and marketing. Oh, dude. Viking, dude. You're like already there. You're like halfway there. So like, especially like most marketing is switching over to this digital platform. Oh, thanks, Teo. Thank you very much. Most marketing is all about that. If you can get a job leveraging your marketing skills with HTML and CSS, you're golden. And a lot of marketing positions also use PHP if they use WordPress. So you can learn PHP. But this is strictly for web development. A few other things you can do is like digital analytics, which is in marketing, which can use something like Python. So you might be doing some coding, but digital like marketing isn't like strictly coding. But I've worked with people who use Python in marketing to extract data and stuff. So yeah, that's great actually. So good for you. You've got a good shot. The best thing to do probably is learn. You're doing a Google scholarship through Pluralsight, and they had offered people in Africa. Awesome. So learn that and see if you can't use it in your current position, like or switch. Like, hey, I have this marketing expertise. I have this sales expertise. This is what I can do for your company, or this is what I can do for our company right now. Things like that are going to help you, and you're going to be able to have a huge leg up on someone like me. Like I went and did an economics degree. I went to a bank, and I worked in like a e-services role, which is like online stuff, like online customer service. And it was super hard for me to even get them to talk to me. Like they were required to give me an interview, but you could tell like they weren't having it. And I kept on applying. Nope, But if I already had some sales or marketing experience, boom, That like helps so much. Uh, excellent question. Thanks for asking that, by the way. Remember, and if you have a question that you're not sure about asking, ask it anyway. It helps. Maybe someone else wants to hear that, not just you. And so don't keep it to yourself. Nixie Wicks, hi there. I don't know if this is. Oh wait, no, we already asked that. Let's see. I want to make sure I got them all so far. Joseph, what are you up to today? Hey, my pleasure. That's what these live streams are for. Always hit me up on LinkedIn. It's on my YouTube channel. I try to answer questions there. I'll do my best, but if they're in depth, sometimes I'm busy too, trying to get my stuff together. So, I'll do my best. But I've answered a few questions there. Sometimes it's hard, like, hey, will you review my resume? Like, I guess, I'll take a look at it. But like yesterday, like 12 hours of Jest and Enzyme. Totally worth it though. I was super pissed. I was super pissed most of the time, but at the end of the, getting towards hour 10, I was like, okay, I can do this, and that. Like, I know what I'm doing, and I can apply it to my portfolio project. By the way, I'm making a new portfolio. I've got the bare bones up right now, and I keep on adding to it. And I haven't done design, which is what's today, so a lot of Photoshop for me today. Do I use anything like XD, or what's the other one there? XD, I know what it is. Starts with an S. Let me know. Wisconsin. Thanks, Mark. Thanks for letting me know where you're coming from. Anyone else that wants to share where they're from, by all means, let me know. I do appreciate that. Sketch. Yeah, Sketch. So I only use Photoshop right now. I mean, there's only so many things you can do, right? Test-driven design, algorithms, CSS animation, SAS. I mean, all that stuff on top of whatever. So Photoshop is my main go-to for design, but I definitely am looking into XD, and I've kind of played around with it, like it. But anyway, check out my GitHub. It's like Garstrich. I think it's on my channel site too. Check it out later. You can kind of see the progress that I'm making. Nixie Wicks, do you have a website or a blog where there's a forum for coders or so to share and exchange code ideas? Someone made me a Discord channel. It's just I never check it out. That's a good idea. I feel like I'm such a small channel now, just trying to get my own stuff together, like trying to become, for a few years, for the majority of my time, I was trying to present myself really well, right, to get a job, to make sure that people knew that I know what I know. Now I have that out there, and I have a job. Now I'm trying to transition more and focus more on becoming a very good developer, not just the marketing part, which, granted, I wasn't doing before, but more focus on knowing my structure, knowing my tests, knowing my JavaScript, semantic HTML, all those things matter a lot more right now. So I'm having a huge push in this new career doing that. Let's see. I'm getting into computer vision for an internship I applied for. The internship is built on HoloLens. Man, Joseph, if you can get a job in that, let me know. That'll be sweet. Seems like it would be a super niche thing to get into, and it sounds very lucrative. Oh yeah, I am growing the beard out again, and I apologize. I had to get a trim, but I think the beard's here to stay at least for another month and a half or so. So let me know your thoughts on that. Let's see. Things I'm going to work on today. Oh yeah, design. What things are you guys working on? You guys and gals. No shave May. No shave ever. Hey, what's up? Oh man, I'm going to try my best. Abdelrahman. Abdelrahman. I'm going to call you Ab. My apologies. It's my fault. Watching from Egypt. Yo, I was just talking about how it's weird, if you go to Egypt, it's not weird, but it is to us. Abdo. Okay, Abdo. About how you've technically visited Africa. One of my coworkers had visited Africa, and he's like, oh, but by Africa he meant Egypt. So, that's a random throwaway side tangent. Cool. We got Egypt, Wisconsin, Florida. Yeah, I like it. We have a pretty nice live stream. Did any of you guys watch my live stream from last week where I talked with Chris, my old buddy from college? That might be a good one to watch. We talked about tech and what it's like. He works for a big company in Seattle, if you know what I mean. check it out after this one. We talk about what it's like, the perks, the drawbacks, and things like that. So, no, someone left. Not yet. Don't do it yet. But I appreciate you guys coming in and chatting it up with me. What questions do you have for me? Web design, anything that you think is appropriate. Which JS framework do you prefer? So to be fair, I only know 2 frameworks: AngularJS and React. I know jQuery, but that's a library. Yes, I've been corrected like several years ago, and I totally understand the difference. But my favorite is React, just because I've spent so much time with it. I like how flexible it is, and the more time you spend with stuff, the more you're gonna like it, right? So I've heard Angular is great. I've heard Vue is really great, but React is what I know. React is what I'm using, and I like the flexibility it has. And but on the flip side of that, it's also kind of like, well, let's just put a bunch of modules together and do whatever. So there's a downside. Sorry about the shakiness here. My arms aren't that strong. I have these developer arms, and the phone's hard to hold up for 16 minutes. Should I start learning jQuery or keep working with Vanilla.js? Vanilla.js, man. Like jQuery, I wouldn't work with right now. If you get into a job and then they're like, hey, you need to learn this, then learn it, absolutely. But you're going to learn way more by learning Vanilla.js. Those skills traverse all frameworks, within reason, all frameworks and libraries. You'll be good, right? You'll learn way more that way. You can do so much with that, like add class and stuff. Now here's something though, like a caveat to that. Some of these new things that you can use in JavaScript, they don't have coverage. So if you're not using something like Babel, if you're not that experienced with compiling things down with Babel and what's the other thing, and Webpack and all that stuff, then I would just use jQuery, because some of those things just aren't supported out of the box, or you're using a website that doesn't have that. Use jQuery, but try to learn as much vanilla JavaScript as you can. There's a new framework out. Of course, there's always a new framework out, right? It's called Svelte, and it's gaining traction. It's always something out there gaining traction. I'll have to check it out though. Send it to me in a message or something, Joseph, or I'll try to look it up after this if I don't forget. Frameworks drive me crazy, I'm not gonna lie. One of the other reasons why I like React is because it's been around for a long time, and a long time for web development, and it's backed by Facebook, and they use it themselves, so that's strong enough for me. Angular, I want to learn, but it's you have to buy in all the way. I'm not ready for that, so I'm kind of bummed. Same thing, heck, it took me a whole day to learn Jest, and learn it to the point where I can use it. Maybe that's long. Thanks, Joseph. I got your message. Maybe that's long, but it's what I need to do, and now I know Jest, and that goes across multiple frameworks, which is good. Abdo says, I'm trying to make all types of sliders. Okay, let's see. I'm trying to make all types of sliders and dynamic tabs using Vanilla.js instead of jQuery. Totally fine. But you got to think look at the documentation. MDN has it, and if you need to support something like IE11, I guess use jQuery, but even better if you're experienced enough, use Webpack with Babel to compile that down to ES5 syntax for IE11, but that can be really hard too. So, I don't want to get stuck there. The thing is that you continue to learn, and jQuery is an extension of ES5 syntax for JavaScript. ES6, 7, 8, whatever. That's totally different. It's not available in every environment. But yeah, I just the other day I used vanilla JavaScript to make a slider and a carousel, a pop-up carousel. Totally fine. Would I like to build it up from scratch all the time? No, but I can. It's not the end of the world. It's not too hard. So, and a lot of that stuff is going to carry over into React. It's going to be easier in React with state management, but you're going to be okay, grab this, grab that. You can set something like slide value equal to 1, 2, 3. And like say, if this is 1, 2, 3, then show this. Much easier, but learn it with that vanilla JS. Good stuff. Good stuff. What other questions you guys have for me? What other questions? Sorry the camera's so close. It just, the camera on this phone is like that. So, get real close up today. I gotta tell you, my arm is dying. My arm is dying just holding this thing here. Okay, let's give that arm a break. Abdo says, I'm trying to make all types of sliders and dynamic tabs using vanilla JS instead of jQuery. That's fine. You know, you're not going to gain too much with that. Where you would gain a lot more is like with a framework. So jQuery is just going to help you select things a little bit easier, but you can use something like add class or the add class on like document or query selector all, and they'll give you something like an array. And you're like, oh crap, now I have to do this array stuff that isn't in jQuery. Then you have to learn how to do a for each. Does that suck? Kind of, but guess what? You're learning more about JavaScript and less about jQuery, and using that as a crutch to go through each thing. So like, console log things out. Like when you use query selector all, you're going to get a UL, like say like a ULLI, and it's going to give you like a whole bunch of stuff, and then you're going to have like an array of things. You can do that with jQuery too, actually, though. It's like to array or something when you select everything, and then you can go cycle through each one, like for each or something. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head like this, so if I'm a little bit off, my apologies, but that's pretty close to what you can do. Let me know if that helps, or if you need clarification, or if you have more questions. For those of you who are new, if you haven't considered subscribing, subscribe. I do these weekly. I try to get up videos weekly. Yeah, I've been slacking on that. Oh, no, it's totally fine. Because, you know what I'm doing? I am grinding, getting my portfolio up. My CSS and design skills have jumped dramatically since I started this new job. Like dramatically, like way more than I ever thought. I thought I knew CSS before. Now I know some CSS. The same with JavaScript and stuff. That's jumped up incredibly high too. So I'm excited to put out a new portfolio to show off all the new skills I've learned. And it's only been like 8 months since I put out my last one, if that. So I'm excited. Let's see. Abdo says, I'm trying to make all types of... No, too far. What do you think about selling templates on ThemeForest? I don't know, man. Like, I don't know, for me personally, because I haven't been involved in that enough. I've been wanting to get into more small business stuff like PHP and WordPress. I've just been looking at it more and more, but not seriously doing it because it's not like my skill set right now. And I'm more like applications, custom stuff, front end, like strictly front end, where that's like a lot more, right? It's PHP, it's WordPress, it's like theme design, but maybe down the road, if I have some free time, I'll do that. Joseph says, jQuery automatically converts HTML collections to arrays. You only need to convert to arrays if you're using vanilla JS. Yeah, sorry about that. Joseph's keeping me straight. PHP is a pain. I hate it so much. Hey, I've heard good things about PHP 7 and stuff, but I've never used it. It's strictly like a back-end language. Now, from my understanding and from what I've heard, not from actual experience, is that PHP was never a quote-unquote design language. It was a language on the fly to make something work. Like, okay, well, let's just make something and make it the fastest way to do that, and make it a PHP thing. But I'm not quite sure myself. I should probably ask some of my colleagues that know PHP. There's just so much to learn, right? The next thing is probably TypeScript. But I heard, like, if you know your JavaScript, TypeScript is pretty easy to pick up, like, real fast. So hopefully I'll only take another weekend. Like, I'm so tired of it. But, yeah, I'm not going to use it on my portfolio. I'm not using TypeScript on my portfolio. I am going to use tests with Jest, Sass, ES6 syntax, of course, Next.js, React Bootstrap. That's pretty much it, I think. No, I'm sure there's more stuff on there. Oh yeah, Axios for requests, and I've already started doing that too, so exciting stuff. Joseph says, I know PHP. It's useful for setting up a quick endpoint on a shared server, but aside from that, I'm not a fan. There you have it. Yeah. I've been hitting endpoints with the YouTube's API, and it's not bad. It just takes a while, but I remember even like 2 portfolios ago, I was just like, I can't get this to work. This hurts my brain. And now it's just like, okay, it's good to see like the progression. Now what I have to worry about is like, hey, don't display this until all the iframes have been loaded, and that's gonna be a challenge. Abdo says, so what are the other ways of making profit instead of selling templates? Working for small businesses, like local businesses, having a job, teaching. I wish I had like all this wealth of knowledge, but for me, I mean, I've done YouTube, but that's pennies, right? That's not serious. I just work for a company, and I just do my best to learn every single day. Joseph says, once you start setting up servers and you know how to deploy your favorite technologies, it's easier to use the tools you're comfortable with for making apps. Yeah. See, I can set up some servers too, and it's not too bad. Like I know Node.js, and I'm using that in my project. Node.js and Express, SendGrid, all those things. So that's what I use for backend, and I need to learn more about it. Of course, I say that about everything, so I don't really need to learn more about it. I just need to learn as much as I need to get the job done, I guess, because they're not paying me for it. So, but in the future, maybe I would. Maybe I can do some consulting. That's been kind of like a dream. So it's like the very, very beginning, like even before I knew JavaScript, I was just doing HTML and CSS. Like, hey, I want to make an e-learning platform. But even more specifically, I like to be able to specialize in building e-learning platforms for companies. Like I worked at one company where they had like a resource bank, and it was terrible, just terrible. It was there, but it's like, dude, I can make this so much better, like just right now. And that's what I've been gearing towards. The e-learning space is where I want to be considered an expert. And right now, I know some stuff, but I've done reviews, and I haven't really built my own. I'm looking to get into that space within in the future. Until then, get your stuff down. I got to learn more about sending data back and forth on both sides, and requests and validation. Those are things I need to learn. Algorithms, of course, data structures are going to help a ton with that. So, build up the foundation again right now for the next 2 months on data structures and algorithms by doing at least, I think, 10 hours a day. Not 10 hours a day, that's insane. 10 hours a week. Do that for 2 months, I think I'll be okay. Not great, but maybe like 100 hours. And I should have more than that, but that's what I'm looking for, 10 to 15 hours a week. Mark says, what is the city that has more openings for starters? What is the city? I mean, there's not a specific city, but the larger you go, the easier it's going to be to get a job. Salt Lake City, that's great for React developers. San Francisco, what up? Thanks for stopping by from India. Appreciate it. Where's another one? New York, Houston, Texas. But the cool thing is the farther we go, the more jobs are opening, right? Even in my small town, there's jobs opening up, and we just need these types of people. So work hard. It's happened for me. I've never worked in like a big. No, that's not true. I worked in Boise for 6 months on a contract job. So appreciate all the likes, by the way, guys and gals. So there's something to be said about that. Like, hey, it's going to be easier to get a job, but are you going to be able to afford it? Or is it going to be worth it? What are your obligations? And also, there's another thing. Like, well, what if I stay in a small town? Like, if I have my whole setup here, like I have my life and my support system, I say go for it. But there is something to be said in a small town. How many jobs are there? There's not going to be nearly as many jobs as in a big city, and despite being like an in-demand career, if it's not in demand where you're at, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage. But you could always move, you just have to be aware of that. So, or maybe the skill isn't as good, the talent isn't as good. That's another thing to think about. but sometimes that you could be totally wrong. Where people like bring people in for that specific company, all sorts of things, all sorts of things to think about. Good questions. Zero programmer, how to get my first job in web development. There's several ways to get there. Let me tell you, you're a Django developer. Let me tell you the way I did it, and it might not necessarily relate to what you do, but let's talk about it, and then we'll talk about other ways. So the way I got my first developer job was at this company doing emails and stuff, very unhappy. And so what I did was I started studying on my own, trying to figure out what skills I needed to get into marketing and stuff. And HTML and CSS were one of those. Graphic design and all that stuff came with it, and I studied that too. But I did those. I did some side projects, and then I took a Udacity Nano degree, and I kept on. Abdo is also Arabic, just FYI. I think so. That's what he's trying to say. And so I got that job, right? And then, okay, where was I going with that? I couldn't get a job anywhere. I started doing the Udacity Nano degree, and that gave me a projects and portfolio. And after that, I didn't get a job for like a couple months or something. I just studied hardcore on Pluralsight, more graphic design through their partner, which was Digital Tutors. Now they're like incorporated into the company. And I finally got a job as a social media manager / WordPress developer because I've been doing blogs, I've been doing some YouTube videos, and I also knew how to code. So I used that, did a few websites like that, did a lot of social media marketing, learned how to market myself even better. And then I finally got a job in Idaho Falls at a company called RS&I, small company. And I'm so grateful to that company. Thank you again. He's not watching, but thanks, Steve, my boss, for doing that. Taking a chance on me, stayed there for a year and a half, learned as much as I could, kept on, adding as much value, learning how to talk between marketing and IT and stuff, like things like that. Then I got a job out in Boise as a web producer for 6 months, and just started putting things up on the web, working in a very large company with lots of people, learning how to talk to back-end, front-end, sales, all that stuff. And finally got to my job now, where I'm a front-end developer. Front-end developer level 2, which is higher than level 1. So that's how I did it. But, some things I did there, a project that got me my first job was doing some social media for a different company. That might not apply to Django, but, think of it that way. Like, how can I do some work, whether it be free or not, that's going to help propel me forward? Can I do some work for free or for cheap for like a small business? And then that's going to count as real work experience. They're using it out, in the actual like business space, and you can put that on your resume. Like, hey, I really did this, and you can see it. If they can see it, even better. Like, okay, well, people are using this. What is the best platform to practice? There is no single best platform. It depends on your skill level, but I would say, what are you looking to do? Like for coding or anything like that, it all depends on your skill level. You can't go wrong starting with something like LinkedIn Learning or Team Treehouse. Mateo is back. You can't go wrong with something like Team Treehouse or LinkedIn Learning to learn, but there's also specific ones. Like for me, I did Front-End Masters. It was a lot of theory, but there's also some practice in there, but it was great. That's really like, I did like 2.5 months of that. And that was the thing that pushed my JavaScript and front-end development to the next level. Of course, working, way in an environment with a lot more developers too. That has significantly improved my front end. But front-end Masters was legit. YouTube, of course, YouTube has a lot of content. You should definitely check it out. The only reason why I say these e-learning platforms is because usually for me, it cuts through a lot of stuff. But YouTube does have a lot of great stuff on there too. So don't knock YouTube. Definitely try that first, especially if it's going to cost you a lot of money. Now, for me now as a developer, it's, like $30 a month is a tiny, investment for me. And I usually do way better. But, you might want to do your research. I remember when I started out, so... Team Treehouse was a lot, and it was totally worth it. And books were a lot, but do your homework, do a lot of YouTube, do a lot of Medium blog posts. So many blog posts that I read now on Medium, on Google, and the documentation. Literally, I'll take my information from anywhere, but the more senior I get, the more I see myself reading through articles rather than like taking whole videos, but not all the time. Like if I'm something like brand new on something like Jest, I'll go through Stephen Greider's Advanced Redux and React and Redux, and he has a whole section on that. Oh, so glad I did that. Tapsman, Quick Web Development Tutorials. What do you think about Codecademy tutorials? I haven't done them. Well, I think I have. A long time ago. They were good, but I'm not quite sure. I think they're good. Where is the best platform for free projects, and what is your recommend? So the best platform to do free stuff is Free Code Camp. Free Code Camp does like run development tracks and stuff, and it's all, of course, free. Now, I've never used them, so I can't vouch for them, but I know that there are some YouTubers that have used them and have had a good experience with them. Wes Bow's JS Challenge is so good for beginners. I heard so much about Wes Bow's. He's a good bloke. I don't know if I've actually used him though. I don't know. I'm sure I've come across his tutorials and used them though. But yeah. Once you get so many down, you know, it's like I don't even remember. A good YouTuber to watch is Traversy Media. Traversy Media is legit, and he's on YouTube and it's free. So his stuff is always legit. So if you need something and you're going through YouTube and you're looking for a certain thing and you see Traversy Media, that's legit. Brad from Traversy Media is legend. So check him out. After this live stream, please don't leave. No, you do you. Good questions. I really appreciate all the questions today. This is great. We have an Arab channel called El Zero. He is an amazing programmer too. Cool. Is it in Arabic or is it in English? Tapsman, Quick Web Development Tutorials. I gotta find out a shorter name to give you. What materials, books, websites do you use to prepare for technical interviews? Haha, great. So that's something that I've been dealing with. Hey Alpha, thanks for coming by. I've been dealing with that a lot actually. So when I sit next to developers that have computer science degrees, I feel like there's a lot lacking on my side because I am self-taught. Yeah, sure, I know a lot of things they don't know, but the basics I feel sometimes are lacking. So I've been actually brushing up on those interviews and those algorithms and those data structures now. I've done it in the past, but now I have an even better understanding of the language. I've gone really deep with JavaScript. And so, of course, there's cracking the coding interview, which is great, but I haven't really gone through it too much. The main problems are in English, but it's not too expensive and you get to keep it forever. And they update the book like every year, so it stays relevant. The other one I've gotten so far is Interview Cake, which I like a lot. It's more like my style of like, okay, let's go through this, let's explain it, let's look at this. They have different like ways to explain things, and there's like little call outs, and it's like, it's like $250 for a whole year, so it's expensive. But I found a tutorial Byte by Byte on YouTube. If you go to his YouTube channel or like look up like Interview Cake review or something, in the description he has a 50% off, which will give you it for like $125 if it's still active right now. So I really like that. I've done like Colt Steele's algorithms and stuff. Do I speak Portuguese? No. The only language I speak is English. I know. It's this beard. The beard and the name say otherwise. But I'm actually I'm half Mexican and half Caucasian. But on the inside, I'm all American. So, fair question. The only language I know is English. Hey, my pleasure. Web tutorials. Interview Cake is pretty good so far. I like it. But Colt still has one on Udemy that's also worth giving a try. If you can get a good deal on it, it's like $20 or something. It's huge. There's another one by something Dobb or something, Scott Dobb or something that has interviews, questions. Those were okay too. Call me Tapas? Taps? All right, Taps. We got it, Taps. Thank you for giving me an easier name. I'll have to do an Interview Cake review in a couple months after I've been using it. How to be a developer: write code, learn code, speak code, meet people. It's shaky over here, sorry. Do projects, interview, apply for jobs, repeat, brutal. But it's like once you hit that first job, then it gets less and less brutal. By the time you hit that third job, someone you'll constantly get like LinkedIn messages and stuff like, "Hey, I heard you are a great developer. I see that you have a good experience. Would you like to work in Saudi Arabia?" I'm like, "Nah." So, but still, if that's you, those are the types of questions you get. Or, we have a great place in Houston, Texas, and then you get to make the choice. Or, even if you're not a perfect fit, that's a totally nice feeling, and it's like, oh, okay. But you still have to keep up. That's a double-edged sword. We're in high demand, but that's just a luxury we have for keeping up to date. And if you don't keep up to date, you'll go obsolete, or you'll be stuck. And if you get fired from that job, it's going to be a lot harder. But that's something we usually don't have to worry about. Not usually, but if you're doing your stuff, you can ask anything, Alpha, if you want. Try to keep it kind of on topic, but yeah, feel free. Of course, Taps says, "Are you a front-end developer?" Yes, I am. I'm not back-end or full stack, but I do know Node and Express. And once you start knowing JavaScript really well, then you're not having to learn everything. So that's why I wish I would have done from the beginning. How did you get your first job? Oh, dude, I just talked about that. I have Rutgers coding certification as a full-stack developer, but I still don't feel ready yet. You'll never feel ready, man. Like, that's the thing. I never, ever feel ready. I always feel like an imposter. And the only way for me to overcome that is to get really good really fast. Now, not everyone has to do that, and not everyone has the same problems as I do, or learns, like, how slow. It's okay, Taps. And so, basically, I have a couple videos too, if you want to look, like how I got my first web developer job and second web developer job. They're on the channel, so look at those. But long story short, I was at a job I didn't like. I looked for marketing positions, saw all the skills I needed, and started learning those, and self-teaching and doing some of my own projects and just working my way up job through job. Sorry, I know that's a lame answer, but I did answer it fully. And there's some videos on here. Just look and search the channel for how I became a web developer. Are you very well known for being a web developer? Alpha says. Not really, I'm not very well known. The actual reason I made this channel was to say, hey, I know about web development. I know about e-learning, and I just want to talk about my experiences. And, I've been tapering that off a little bit, but I should pick it up. It just, what are you going to do? Like right now, I think it's more important for me to learn as much as I can in a short time, and then come back to YouTube. I'm still here, but not in full force. YouTube isn't the main thing right now. I've got a job now. It's time for me to become even more professional and learn those things, because there's a lot I don't know. There's a lot that I wish that I should be knowing, and I can know, and then come back and share that with you guys, rather than just saying like, hey, these are some cool e-learning experiences, or I can ask or provide you with better questions. And even like in the live streams, I'm noticing that I'm able to give you better responses. But, should I make my own course? Those are things I want to do. But I want to get even better and have some more time. You can do it at any time, but I want to become a professional. I want to be recognized. Like, I know my stuff. So, just waiting around for that. Not waiting around, but chipping away at it, I want to improve my portfolio. Is it good? Yeah, it's kind of good. But this new one's going to be very professional, and hopefully that will be like a lead gen for lead generation for freelance clients or for speaking engagements, things like that. Alfix says, "Do you like to be a developer?" Yes, I do. I love being a developer. For so many years I struggled. And I went to college and struggled, and it wasn't worth it for me personally. But afterwards, going through development, people treat me better, people pay me better. I get more out of it. I feel more creative. Not all the time, right? It's still a job, but I love it so much, and I feel like I'm more in control of my career. And if I want to learn something, I just learn something. I don't have to go get a master's degree or anything like that. Could I? Yeah. But as long as I put in the work and I make the projects, then you can get that next pay bump. Or that next, that next promotion or whatever. Tap says, explain in detail your workday as a front-end developer. what responsibilities do you have? How are daily duties organized? Okay, so I'm going to do my best to go over this, uh, but I want to give my company some anonymity there. Yeah. So basically, usually, hey Texture Tree, thanks for coming by. My day starts off with going to work, of course, and reviewing things that I did before. If there's any notifications I need to do, settling down, and then maybe looking into some information that I need. Uh, you know, or if I study something the day before for work, then go in immediately and review like a blog post or like an MDN documentation thing for it, and then get to work. Whoops, on any projects I have. Go to meetings, um, talk to the people within the project and stuff like that, and that's usually a lot of my day. But I can't get too granular because, you know, NDAs and stuff like that. So, gotta be, it's a fine line. So I apologize for not giving you the best answer there. Texture Free, thanks for coming by the way. I think if I didn't tell you already. All good questions today. Appreciate it. Tapas says nice, still good info. Yeah. We're 40 minutes in, and I haven't shared this with any of like my social networks, so I'm gonna do that right now. Cool. Sorry about that. I went to go share this, and I think it disconnected me for a minute. So let me know if we got disconnected. I won't do that again. Yeah. Have you ever been hacked? Ooh. Hacking is such a weird term. It basically means, has anyone got into your information? And that could be like as simple as, oh, I accidentally left my Facebook open, I'm hacked. Like a long time ago, someone got a hold of my credit card information and made purchases like halfway across the country. But luckily, the credit union or whoever had my card was able to catch it soon enough and reimburse me that money. That's the worst thing that's ever happened. Mark says, my grandmother's side is also A. Garcia. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us. Of course. Yeah, Mark. Of course. Anytime. Since we're talking about this, one thing I've been actually looking into myself, for me and my son, is a adjustable desk. And I'm going to buy one, and that's a big investment, but it's not nearly as much as it used to be. I found a good adjustable, my Google buoy, I don't know what that means, Alpha, but, okay. Anyway, mods, keep an eye on that stuff, by the way, but I think he's all right for now. An adjustable desk. We want to make sure that when we're learning and we're spending a lot of time, we're investing in our environment and our education. And a standing desk has been crazy. Like I've been introduced to it just recently, within like the last 6-7 months, and I love it. But I want to have something like that in my own home for me and my son. They're about I found a good one for about $375. That's a lot of money. Yes, I understand that. But if you think about it as an investment in your education, oh, dude, totally worth it. Especially if you have like a little laptop, you can stand up, sit down, then get a docking bay. But I understand these are all expensive things to have. Tap says, how did you get your first job? What were the selling points during the interviews? These are good questions. Can you spend some time talking about your journey on landing your first job? How the F did you stay persistent? Oh, yes, tell me about it. I was just so unhappy with the way things had turned out, right? So got my bachelor's degree, things are supposed to be freaking great. Turns out I can only get a job for $12.50 at a bank or something. So wasn't happy. People with high school degrees were passing me up. And then what I did was just start studying on my own. Any free time I had, study, draw. Like even drawing to learn about the graphic design and like shape, texture, all that stuff. So anyways, we talked about that. I picked up my skills. Then I started making my own projects through the Udacity Now degree. And then I got my own project as a social media, managing social media for someone, and I went to a social media agency locally, which was strange. There weren't any in the area. This is like a brand new one, not brand new, but a very small one, and just said, "Hey, this is what I've done, and I've done this for this company, and it's done live. It's out there right now." That's how I got it. Showed them my projects, and then also showed them what I've done in the field, and that was it. And it was a small, shop, but they took a chance on me. So grateful they did. And then from there, I went to a small web developer shop. They looked at stuff, looked at my old projects again, looked at my portfolio, again, moved up. And then from there, same thing. I made a portfolio, just made an interview and talked to people after about a year and a half of staying at my first front-end developer job. That's it. So, the projects, the YouTube, all that help. It's been a cumulative thing. It's not just one thing. YouTube still helps out, but I haven't been on it as much. Right now, I'm just trying to become a great developer, and YouTube is taking kind of a back seat to that, which is totally fine. So, because it takes time. Like, my YouTube videos take about 8 hours to make. So, and that's, a normal one. Thanks, Alpha. Glad to have you back. So, the thing that I had to do that helped me stay persistent, though, was just watching YouTube channels that helped me stay that way. At the time, Simple Programmer was a thing. I watched those all the time. Gary Vaynerchuk, I watched that all the time. And just like writing it down, like what I'm going to do that week, what I'm going to do the next week, and just keeping those motivational things there. Even like things like Casey Neistat at the time was like continually blogging, like, wow, this guy inspires me, blah, blah, blah. Continually putting inspirational stuff in my brain and just hacking away at it. Remembering why I'm doing this too. Like, hey, do I want to do this just to be a good developer, make a ton of money? No, that's not why I'm doing this, right? I'm doing it to have a better life, to set myself up better in the future, to have more options, those types of things. Let me know if that answers your questions, Taps. If not, we can expand. Or if you have additional questions, go ahead and ask them. Let's see here. Oh, Tap says, wonderful answer, buddy. What are your future plans for your career, short-term and long-term? What is your horizon looking like? What do developers do? I do not know what they do. Hey, that's totally fine. I'm going to answer Tap's question first, and I'll answer your question next. So, Taps. Let's see. Let me pull up that again. Future plans for my career. So, in the short term right now. Hey, Trones, thanks for coming by. In the short term for my career, algorithms, data structures, testing. I've talked to a bunch of developers, and those are the things that it seems like senior developers should know. I'm at a level 2 at my position, and I'm like, oh man, I gotta step it up. So that's one of the ways I can do it. And going to work every day, improving your processes, looking at what you can do, that's just naturally going to happen, right? But beyond that, what I did first was really do a deep dive on JavaScript, CSS, all those things through Front-End Masters, just going through course. I think I went through over like 250 hours, up to like 300 hours on Front-End Masters. And then from there, like, I kind of took a break, started doing some more things at work. I got better at Gulp. I started looking at Git. I started looking better at Git, and I needed to get better at that. And also asking my coworkers for help and knowledge. Anyone I can, like, to learn more. That's how I started getting better at work, and that's helped a ton. But now it's just data structures, algorithms, getting a new portfolio site to show off all the skills that I have is another thing. So I'm doing portfolio, data structures, algorithms. Those are the main things right now in the short term. In the long term, though, I need to become specialized in a niche, and I think my niche is e-learning. And so, yeah, the YouTube channel is taking a back seat, but ultimately that's going to be what drives my career, and I need to do more e-learning stuff. I need to get this Front-End Masters review out, but it's so hard. So, hold on, Alpha. I'll get to your question. Thanks, Alan. Have you heard of Thinkster.io? I haven't heard of Thinkster.io. Alpha, what do developers do? Good question. So, what developers do is create things, pretty much. And they usually use that by communicating with a computer. If anyone thinks has more stuff to add, or says, hey, that might not be right, feel free to add it in the comments. So we talk to the computer, and we make applications or like sites or programs to complete a task or complete a project. At the heart of it, that's what we do. Now, there's back-end developers who mostly work with the server side, which means all the machine stuff that has to be run in the background. And there's front-end developers who do stuff like everything that you interact with. Full stack, of course, does both. There's DevOps, which kind of integrate things. But generally speaking, developers speak with computers to get outcomes that humans want. I'm trying my best here. Let me know if that's an acceptable answer, or if anyone has a better answer or wants to add to that answer. I don't know what's up with this Allen fire, but let's keep it a little bit. Let's not harass anyone in the comment section. Good questions. Good questions. Any more questions, send them my way. I'm having a good time. Although, it is contingent on how long my phone battery lasts here. But we got some good time. We got time. Tap says, what's your salary compensation at your first job with no professional experience? I can't answer that one. I usually can't answer things about salary. I will answer that. Just a range will do. The reason I'm asking, man, is I might end up taking a pay cut for my current job. I feel you there, bro. What up, Alexi? Okay, whoever Alexi is, I know that you know me from breakdancing. That is funny. That is funny stuff. As a medical technologist, if you have a breakdance name, let me know, Alexi. So long story short, like back in the day, I used to breakdance all the time. That's why I'm bald here. I used to do head spins all the time, and I didn't care about my hair. And my b-boy name was Potato because I was from Idaho, where I was famous for potatoes, and I went to Salt Lake. And so that is awesome. Okay, let's go back to this question here about my first salary. Okay, my first salary compensation the salary compensation at my first job was like $12.50. But that was for the social media slash WordPress developer. It wasn't much, but it was a foot in the door. And at the time, I didn't have a job because I specifically took a job. I took off, work to study for a few months. So it was totally worth it. Totally worth it. I knew that was at least I got my foot in the door. Then my actual front developer job after that was $35,000 starting. Okay, very low, very humble, but around this area, it's okay. It's not bad. Then it just kept on going up, and that's all I can say about that. Same bro. Alexi Masters. I gotta check out your YouTube channel later. Cap says, as a medical technologist, yeah, man. So I'm a hip hop and break dancer. I moved to London and competed with WBC and I'm in Germany competing because I won. That's cool, Alexi. I've never heard of you, but thanks for coming by. I mean, I'm sure I've heard of you. It just I don't know who you are by that, but that's interesting. That's interesting. Cool. It's cool to hear that. Let's see here. What was your current salary compensation? Yeah, we talked about that. So anyway, current salary, it's very competitive. Not very competitive. It's competitive. It's where it should be. Altix says, what is your working schedule? Do you spend the day working? Yeah. Yeah, I spend the day working. Typically anywhere from 8 to 9, or so 8 to 5, 9 to 6, somewhere around there. And then I also spend time investing in my own education afterwards. Ooh. Good questions. Keep the questions coming. My eyes. Can't wait to get on to some data structures and algorithms today. It looks like we've reached an hour here. If you have a question, by all means, go ahead and put it in the comments section. Feel free to do that. And otherwise, let's see. Elvis, can I talk? Can I tell you a word in Portuguese and you try to talk? No. I'm sorry, I can't do that. I don't know what it is, and I don't want to get struck by the YouTube algorithm if it's a swear word. My apologies. Any other questions? Let me know. And Mark says, what is the hardest to learn at this point for you? The hardest to learn? I mean, data structures, algorithms, and testing, but it's not that hard compared to like all the stuff that I've done before. Probably full integration, dude. Like back-end stuff, like maybe API design. I don't even know. Like the hardest thing right now is just doing it. I think finding the time to do everything and not go crazy, and not like ruin your body. So I've been taking more time doing that kind of stuff. I guess the hardest thing right now is patience. But instead of coming home and just laying down, which I'll do, making sure to go and get on that stuff. And I can do it. It's not very hard now, but it comes in waves, right? So like last weekend, I really treated myself. Went out to Salt Lake, went out with a friend and my son, and just totally had fun for an entire weekend. Are you some kind of super developer, man? No, I'm just a developer, front-end developer who talks about my experiences to hopefully give other people insight into the industry and maybe answer some questions for people that are further down the road or learn from others as well. So that's why I have a channel, not because I'm some super developer. Good questions. So Mark, I guess the hardest thing to learn right now is patience, because I know how to do a lot of these things. I know it's going to take a while. That's it. It just takes a while. Yesterday I was like, I'm going to spend 4 hours on test-driven development. Turned out being 12. Tap says, hey, before I leave, thank you for answering. Thank you for your thoughtful answers. Let's keep in touch. I love this Q&A session. Very informative. Let's see. I'll have even more questions for your next Q&A. Thanks, Alan. Anyway, you can always hit me up on LinkedIn. It's on my channel banner if you want to keep in touch. I'll do my best. I am very busy, but I'll do my best to answer questions. Keep on hustling, as they say, as the hip people say, hustle, grind, all that jazz. Advance my career. I'm all out of coffee, and that pisses me off. Even right now, I'm taking a break. Like all these live streams take time. It takes me about 15 minutes to get here, 15 minutes to leave when we do it. But this is even an investment in my career. I know I'm rambling here, but there's a lot of things you can do to invest in your career that go beyond just learning code. The first thing is to get visibility. The first thing is to get some basic code, then get visibility. And these are just my opinions. And once you get visibility, get a job, keep that visibility going up, and from there, really become a professional. Have you already made a presentation? Can you be more specific, Alpha? I'm not quite exactly sure what you mean by that. Interesting. Interesting stuff. Live stream's going strong, by the way, today. I've been doing this for an hour. I guess I'll ask you guys some questions then, while we wait for some more to come. What made you come to this channel, development or something else? That's the first question I'll ask. I'll wait for some responses to come in. Again, what made you want to come to my channel? And just let me know. you ever send me a request, I'll get on LinkedIn. I'll get to it as soon as possible. I saw that Taps. I'll get there as soon as possible, which will be after this live stream, and I go home. Oh yeah, that's the one thing I forgot. Like, I think I already told you at the beginning of this live stream, but if you just came in, I left my laptop at my parents' house, so I'm stuck. Joshua Fluke recommended you. That is why I came. Really, Corey? I don't believe you, but if you did, that's awesome. I'm going to have to leave now. It was a pleasure to be with you, Ricky. Bye bye. Bye bye, Alpha. Thanks for coming by. Corey, are McAvoy Digital? Are you? Yeah, that's what I thought. Right now I'm doing my portfolio. What do you think? What do you think, Corey? When I'm done with this portfolio, this new portfolio, should we send it over to Joshua Fluke to critique? Probably take me about a month and a half. And I've been working on it for about, I don't know, a week. Yes. Yeah, I don't know. I'm a week in, but I've mostly just set up like the environment and the bare bones, no design. Today is all about design. I'm taking a little bit of a break from the portfolio. Design, algorithms. I better actually do something to keep my GitHub current. So now, like, it usually like it doesn't matter. GitHub doesn't matter. But now that I have a project, it's like I gotta make a commit every day. Like, get that green square. I don't know what that means, Alan. I'm not gonna repeat it, but okay. So. Let's take a look. Where are we at? We got 17% battery life. It's a dying. All right. Well, you know what? I'm going to stay for just a minute. If you have any more questions, get them in right now. Otherwise, we'll call it a day. I'll hang around. I wrote the wrong to you. That's okay. If you have any more questions, again, get them in. And, if you're watching this at a later time, feel free to leave the questions in the comment section below. I'll do my best to get to them as soon as possible. Oof, that's right. I got to get to some of these comments. I've been ignoring them for like a week or so. So I'll go back through those and answer all of those so I can be true to what I say. So my apologies, guys. I've just been grinding, hustling. Got 2 here. Waiting for those questions to come in. That's what keeps the channel going. Hey, yo, if you're trying to grow a beard oil, totally unrelated, but just FYI, beard oil is most excellent. All right, I think, let's see. Well, I think that's going to do it, guys and gals. Again, if you like this content, give me one of these likes if you haven't already. If you already have, totally appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed and you like this content, feel free to subscribe to the channel. I try to do these live streams every week and put out videos as soon as possible. I know I got to get back on that. Anyway, thanks for coming by. Appreciate you watching, and I will catch you guys in the next video. See ya. Have a good week.